You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right. You are now listening to and watching the Mike's Opinion podcast. How are you doing? I hope you're doing all right out there. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're chilling. I hope you're healthy and vibrant. As always, you know, I want to know how you doing. Hit me up anytime, Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com or anywhere on any of the socials. I invite you. Slide to my DMs. Go public. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Last week, I was off. I didn't announce it, but I was off. Yes, I was off. After my rant on sports cards and the whole sports cards and collectibles game, if you haven't checked out that episode, definitely check that out, especially if you're into collecting, buying, selling, anything, trading, anything to do with sports cards and collectibles, any of that kind of stuff. So feedback has been interesting so far. But yeah, I was off last week, didn't announce it. So, but I'm here. I'm here now, and I hope you're doing okay. And you know, spring is a wonderful time, right? Now, y'all know I'm from New York City, born and raised, but I live in Texas, have for a long, long time now. Still consider myself a New Yorker and a Texan, you know what I'm saying? But tornadoes is real. Like I've been in the bathtub with a mattress over me. Like I haven't seen one, haven't experienced one, hope to see one, but like from a distance. It's an awesome display of nature. But we all live in under some kind of environmental threat. East Coast is hurricanes, West Coast is earthquakes, down here in the dirty, in the South, it's hail and tornadoes. And it's real. It's real. It's just life on Earth, right? But spring, otherwise, I could do without the bugs. And the cicadas is going to be off the chain this year, from my understanding. But the insects say, "Yeah, this is our time." But there's some advantages to spring. Many advantages. The weather's beautiful. It's a time the trees start sprouting all the life. It's evident of life. Now, if you live like somewhere near the equator, if you live like in one of these tropical islands, it's just like that all the time. Like on my weather app, I always have places like I have Negril, like in Jamaica, right? It's 80 degrees all the time. Hawaii, it's 80 degrees all the time. So there's places on earth that's like that. And I say, yo, Mike, why you don't live in one of those places? Why people just visit there and then come back? I don't have the answer to that question. I guess it's just money. Is it money? I don't know. A lot of those equatorial places, those islands, it's a different existence. It's a different life, right? Something you can get used to in exchange for great weather year round. I don't know. But we are here today to ask the question, or to ask and answer the question, what would you do with $600 million? Let's let that marinate for a second. $600 million. Well, if you just taking time, let that sink in and marinate, you thinking what your life would be like if you was a hundreds of millionaire, all the things you could buy and places you can go and things you can do. All selfish shit, to be honest with you, right? Um, Not for some. I am here in this short episode to big up. It's more than a big up. It's a, hit you with the halo. It's a pat on the back with both hands. It's to tie that cape around you and to say a resounding, echoing shouted from the rooftops, thank you, to a woman who just gave in excess of $600 million. That woman is MacKenzie Scott, formerly Jeff Bezos' wife, who, if you didn't hear me correctly, just gave away over $640 million to a variety of charities and organizations. Now, there was hundreds of organizations. I didn't go into depth, but excuse me, it appeared that MacKenzie gave to everyone, primarily those that are trying to help humanity. Something I would love to do. So many things ran through my mind when I read this, because this is pretty much breaking news. It just broke yesterday. Well, I learned about it yesterday. It seemed like it just broke yesterday or the day before. Imagine for a second, just for a moment, if every billionaire did this in concert, simultaneously, either biannually or even quarterly or even just annually. Now, I don't know if they can give away $600 million, but a substantial percentage, if you will. This isn't even 10% of what MacKenzie is worth. So MacKenzie Scott is the ninth richest woman overall, and according, and the list changed, right? It's a fluid kind of thing overall worldwide, but the fourth richest woman in America. And I'm gonna get to that list in just a second. But I know there are upwards of 8 billion people on the planet. That's my understanding. Population continues to increase. Here in America, we are, some think, on the brink of a civil war. We are battling seemingly increased gun violence and racism and severe economic imbalances and many other things. Those of you that follow and have listened to me from the beginning, first of all, thank you. I'm coming up on my 4th year next month. Still haven't crossed over into Popularville, and that's okay. But while I'm on that, support the show, please. Like, share, follow, subscribe, comment. I invite everybody's comments. If you can support the show financially, there's PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. I have a GoFundMe out there. MacKenzie Scott, if you happen to hear this, individuals can help too, not just organizations. So I have many ideas, I have them written down. I have them. I can help this planet. I could be a vehicle like yourself for change. But could you just imagine if all the rich people decided quarterly, biannually, annually, we're going to interject? And maybe they are. Maybe I'm not in the know. Maybe they do it quietly and anonymously. But those of you that follow me know I've said it in other episodes. As you know, I'm edutainment. I'm not into fluff or gossip. I try to be substantive, and I am substantive. I bring substance, but um, that's what I like to offer. But I don't understand. It boggles my mind how anybody is hungry, how every child isn't protected, how clean water worldwide isn't a thing. Um, I don't understand why homelessness exists. I don't understand why the housing market is a for-profit endeavor, just like hospitals and colleges. But I'm a dreamer. I always have been. If you look at my catalog, if you interview anyone that's ever known me, I'm a kind, empathetic, non-violent person. I've had to be things due to the environment I grew up in. Growing up in Harlem and the Bronx and New York City, I had no choice but to protect myself and do what I needed to do. But that didn't corrupt my heart. That didn't corrupt me and make me an evil or mean or hostile or violent person. But I had something crucial that some people don't have. I grew up with love in my house. I grew up with hugs and kisses and being told I was loved, knowing I was loved. I was loved. And I think that makes the difference. Um, it just it boggles my mind. So when I read this story, I used to watch the news every day on TV, the local news and then the national news. Um, just like many other people, I don't do that anymore. I get my news from my phone. All the news organizations, and I get news from the left, the right, and the middle. The conservatives, the liberals, the Democrats, the Republicans, all of the spins that are out there. And then I form my own conclusions. I'm not like, for instance, you'll find CNN and Fox, the news apps on my phone. Ooh, excuse me. So you can't bury your head in the sand. So I need to stay informed. I like to stay informed, see what's going on. So when I read this story about MacKenzie Scott doubling what she initially planned to offer, I had to find out more information. And it inspired me to do this episode and ask the question, what would you do? Now, according to put on my reading glass, I need to get some new reading glasses, something more stylish. What do you think? What kind of fits my face? If you're an eyeglass person, reach out. What shape? What make me look a little more classy, more stylish? Let me know. Um, but MacKenzie Scott is the fourth richest person in America, and like I said, the ninth in the world. In America, um, currently, it says she's worth about $37 billion. Okay. So I like to say, between 30 and 40, like I said, it fluctuates. I'm pretty sure she's in the market. She could probably make $10 million in a day just on her investments. Um, but think about that. 10% of $37 million. I mean, excuse me, $37 billion is $37 million. Excuse me, $3.7 billion. So she didn't even do 10%, giving away $640 million. Now, like I said, I think about so many things, right? If there's a Illuminati, if there's a shadow government, if there are a handful of power brokers that truly run this earth, um, maybe they don't want to, maybe when caring empathetic, loving individuals like MacKenzie Scott appears to be. I'm just going to say is. I don't know her. I've never met her. Um, I mean, I would love to meet her and just talk to her, really. But maybe there's circumstances. Maybe they get visits from black helicopters that don't make no noise, or you know, six men dressed in all black. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in those circles. I've had money, not that kind of money, not even close to that kind of money. But when you start going to certain upscale stores and five-star restaurants, and you start seeing a different clientele of people, you start meeting different types of people, and there are heavy hitters on this earth. Some that don't want things to change, that don't really want, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. It's a wonderful song. And I know I digress. Y'all know I digress. It's all connected though. So when I saw some of the organizations that McKenzie's Yield Giving organization gave out, I mean, Oasis Legal Services, Open House, Lifespan Local, Louisiana Center for Children's Rights. I saw an ACLU in some city, Korean Community Center, Jail to Jobs organization, Isaiah House, Include NYC, Horizon Kids, Habilitat, Grasp, uh, Federation for Children with Special Needs. Like the list goes on, right? And she can choose, it's her money. She can choose to do and help whoever align with her interest. But I want to make something very clear. MacKenzie Scott didn't have to give anyone a dime. She could be on a beach somewhere with 10 cabana boys for the rest of her life. So this is why I say the halo, the cape, the accolades, the recognition, it needs to be heralded upon her. It needs to be, we need to, like, how they do those mosh pits, you dive into the crowd and people carry her and lift her up. We need to lift her up all the way across the country. Because wow. Well over $500 million. You say, well, Mike, that's not a drop in the bucket. Why would you expect her to give away all of her money? She probably will over time. But that kind of philanthropy, that kind of generosity, that type of giving seems sparse. Again, there may be many that do it that keep it quiet, don't want anybody to know. But imagine if you're giving somebody a significant amount of money and tell them to be quiet about it, it's kind of hard. They want people to know, especially if it's a charitable organization, because they're helping people. The word's going to get out. Where'd you get this influx of money? Where'd you get this injection of cash? Would you do the same thing? Now, the question is if you had $600 million, not if you're a billionaire, but you know, 10% of $600 million is 60, excuse me, of 600, yes, of 600 million is $60 million. And let's cut that in half. Let's say 5%, $30 million. Would you give $30 million of your $600 million to charitable organizations, to people you probably will never meet? Hope that the people you give it to spend most, if not all of it, on the intended charity's mission. Now, I can only imagine that with the application process she had for this, that there will be some accountability from the organizations receiving this money. It's hard to just give a blind trust and hope they do good and don't go by. You read it in the news. I read it all the time. Well, not all the time, but frequently. Where I mean, and it's from all levels, really, from government to corporate to nonprofits. Where corruption, where people are embezzling the money or spending the money for their own to support their lavish lifestyles or some form of excess. And I get it. I can only imagine that that's tempting. It could never tempt me because I am not a materialistic person. Do I like nice things? Absolutely. But I'm not into lavish. Like I could never buy a Rolls Royce. That's just me. Might I rent one and just have the experience? Yeah, maybe. But I don't. If I never do that in my life, I don't need to. I just need a reliable vehicle that gets me from point A to point B. I don't have to have an umbrella in the door and all the starry roof and all of that. I've seen them. Um, and I have been an owner of a Mercedes Benz for many years. So I don't have that Mercedes anymore, but I did. Um, but I did that for safety, really. When I was shopping for cars, I did that for safety. I did it for multiple reasons, and the prestige that comes along with a car like that helps in business. If I'm being honest, when you pull up to do a business deal and you're in a nice vehicle, people feel a way about that, usually a positive way. It's the land that we live in. I'd like to know what does MacKenzie Scott drive? Or does she just have a driver and get chauffeured around all day? I would imagine a woman of that worth, not even just a woman, a person, has some form of security just because this is Earth. And if we're being realistic, you have to protect yourself, especially if you're worth that kind of dough. Would you give away some of your money? Let me know anywhere on the socials. X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't like saying that. Elon changed it back to Twitter. Um, Facebook, Instagram. Uh, I think I have a. I don't know if I have a Spaces or what's the other one. Um, I can't remember the other one. Where's my phone? Oh, I think there's another one that I have, and it is called Threads. There's so many now. So many. Those are just the popular ones. There's hundreds of them, probably thousands of these apps. Anyway, or hit me up directly. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. You can always leave a comment in YouTube if you happen to be watching on YouTube. And people listen and watch on YouTube too. Get me YouTube up. That would be great. I'd really appreciate that. But I'd like to know what you would do with the money. If it were me, I'll tell you what I'd do. I would like to do just random acts of kindness. And I've been doing this my whole life. The panhandler on the corner, instead of throwing some change, I give him $5. That kind of thing. Now, I'm not sponsored by anybody. Again, support the show, please. But Random Act of Kindness is an ad campaign from Honda. Excuse me. And they've been doing stuff like that I'd like to believe there's a lot of kindness that goes, I don't want to say unnoticed, but has no fanfare. Like, I'd like to believe there's more kindness out there because all the news, and I always call it the bad news. Um, there's one good news website that I've found. Maybe there are more, but all they call, is the death and the murder and the crime and the horribleness of Earth. There's been studies on why human beings appear to be drawn to that. And I say we should be reconditioned. We should unlearn to be attracted to negativity. Big ups to Lester Holt of NBC News. When I used to told you I used to watch the news, and some days I'd watch NBC, some days I'd watch others. But Lester Holt used to always end his broadcast, and maybe he still does, with a positive news story. And I always respected that, and I applaud him for doing that. We need more positivity. It is my opinion that many people are filled with hatred. They're over caffeinated. Their diet affects their mood. They're on these strong antipsychotic pharmaceuticals, and you know, when I went to high school, I never had to think about anybody coming into to high school with a gun. Ever. Nobody came in a gun and wanted to shoot up the school, so something clearly has changed. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing there's much too little of. It's a song. I heard it sung by Dionne Warwick. I'm pretty sure it's been covered by others. And she may not even, that hers may have been a cover. I don't know. And for all my hard rocks out there that may be listening or watching, it's like, yo, miss me with the mushiness, yo, with the soft, lovey dovey. What's wrong with that? I think that makes me more like God, more manly. That's what I think. I'm not afraid to be nice. I'm not afraid to be kind. It's easy to be mean and ugly and evil. It's easy to be that. It's much more challenging to communicate effectively and work out your differences, to love your fellow man. I'd like to see much more of that. In fact, like I said, I'm a dreamer. I'd like to see utopia, a peaceful planet where we love each other and love the planet. A lot less concrete and steel. I could go on and on and on things I'd like to see. But like I said, this isn't the first time I've said this. But when I learned about what MacKenzie Scott did, it really it touched me. I didn't get one red cent, and that's fine, even though I'm in dire need of it. To be honest with you, um, but if I was in her position, I'd be just like her. I would help as much as I can. And you got to be careful with that, though. You know, because you know, there's a parable I think in the Bible where, um, you know, you can keep giving a man fish, or you can teach a man to fish, so he can catch his own fish. Somewhere along those lines, I know I probably messed that up, but you know, you can't just give, and give. Um, the goal for me, if I were her, would be to give to make the person whole, so they can find their purpose, their path, and have a great quality of life for whatever they choose to do. You know, um, the vast majority of us will not be millionaires, and an even smaller amount of us will ever be billionaires. So MacKenzie Scott is a very fortunate, blessed, lucky, however you want to view it, but a very special person in that regard to have acquired that amount of wealth. And some people may argue how she acquired it. Doesn't matter. Look what she's doing with it. Is her former counterpart doing the same? Or is he taking pictures with his new boo on a yacht somewhere at lavish parties? I can't hate on Jeff. Maybe he's doing the same thing. I don't know. He employs a lot of people. I can't say there's been a lot of positive press about how he employs those people. Judgment free zone. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm here to just pose the question to you and make you think, what would you do with that kind of money? And to tell you, you don't have to have that kind of money to help, because time is equally as valuable. Check out MacKenzie's list. If there's an organization near you, volunteer. I've done a lot of volunteer work, and I haven't lately, but my son is old enough now, and he's a preteen, and we're going to be adding that to the repertoire. He needs to start doing some volunteering. I want him to experience all different types of people, particularly the less fortunate. We're not that fortunate, but there are those that are far less fortunate than we are. So you don't have to have $600 million or $40 billion. Help out. I can tell you volunteering helped me more than the organizations I volunteered for. I just felt great having done something good. It's just that simple. It's very fulfilling, very rewarding for myself. That's not why I did it, but it's a byproduct of volunteering. Excuse me. That's what I have to say today. Big ups to MacKenzie Scott, and think about how you can help Earth, because MacKenzie Scott has helped in a big way, and I hope she keeps doing so. And I hope the others billionaires follow her lead. Oh, just real quick, I need to pull it back up because I had taken it down, but it shouldn't take me. I wanted to just, and this I think was a 2023 list that I had up just for fun. So the 10 top billionaires. And like I said, in this list, the worldwide list, MacKenzie Scott was number 9, but this is an older list. This is from 2023 because this had her valued at 24.4 million. She's upwards of 40 million now. But at the time of this list, it was number 10 was Iris Fontbana, and she's from Chile. MacKenzie Scott, of course, was number 9. Gina Reinhardt in Australia. Suzanne Clayton in Germany. Raffaella Aponte Diamant is in Italy. Miriam Adelson, who you may have heard of, who I believe is in Israel and United States. Jacqueline Mars, the candy people, Mars Inc. Is United States. Number 3 was Alice Walton, of course, the Walton family, Walmart. Number 2 was Julia Koch or Koch. I believe they call it Koch. It's pronounced Koch, from Koch Industries. And number 1 at the time of this list, and I doubt there's anybody surpassed her, was Francois Betancourt Myers, and I hope I'm saying that right, of L'Oreal, who at the time of this list had upwards of $74 billion. Wow. It's astounding, astounding amount of money to have. In this world, I'm a very private person. So just imagine, I had trouble. I had a maid briefly. And I don't know. It has its advantages, but I just felt uncomfortable. I didn't have it for very long, a few months. But you know, I've still have a landscaper. It's too hot in Texas. Too old to be out there cutting the lawn. But anyway, but when you got that kind of money, you got to worry about getting kidnapped and your loved ones getting kidnapped, and there's a whole nother set of problems. I think Diddy, shout out to Diddy, what he's going through, and if he's guilty. But he made a song that said more money, more problems. So if you're without cash and making ends meet is your only problem, it's a significant one. I understand. But there's a whole nother set of real problems you have when you're rich that you may not want to deal with. Say, yo, Mike, don't kill my dreams. Don't kill my spirit. Don't kill my drive. I want to be rich. Okay. I'm just letting you know. Think it through. Think about it. Think about it. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, for watching on YouTube. I appreciate you. I always do. And I hope you're doing okay. I really do. I hope you're doing fine. And if you're not, find a pathway to okay. Just like MacKenzie Scott, she has her list. Whatever help you need, there's probably an organization out there that can assist you in some way. Reach out for that help. Find that pathway so you'll be okay. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I'm Mike. This is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.